The other thing I want to talk about the pattern is that each of the patterns has a layout for the applique, and it's full-sized. So that's where you can trace to get your freezer paper patterns and iron them onto the fabric. So you get the right sizes, and it makes them easy to trace around. Also, the numbers on the pattern tells you which order to put the pieces onto the background. In this case, I have started with 5, and I'm going to do 4 onto the house before I apply the house. So, however, it's necessary to do the chimneys, which are number 1, before you apply the house to the background. So I'm going to show you a bit of stitching on the window. And I like to start in the corner. And it doesn't really matter which corner you can start in. And I like to make my stitches pretty close together right in that corner, so it anchors it well. And then stitch across. And my stitches are probably about 1/8 of an inch. I don't measure them, I eyeball them. I don't make my stitches too close together because that has a tendency to make the fabric pull, and I don't pull them tight. The strength in applique is not in how tight the stitches are pulled. It's just that they are not that close together and the thread is pulled taut. In the event that you have problems with your thread knotting, it could be one of 2 things. Either when you took the thread off the spool, if you're right-handed, you want to thread the needle before you cut the thread loose from the spool and put the knot into the cut end. If you're left-handed, you want to knot the thread end coming off the spool, cut it from the spool, and thread the other end. That's because thread has twist, and twist, it needs to be in the direction that you're stitching. So if you're right-handed, the twist is compatible with threading the needle before you cut it off the spool. If you're left-handed, it's the opposite. If you still have some problems with your thread knotting, I suggest a product like Thread Magic, which is a silicone product that you can run your thread across. So with your needle threaded, you can run it through the silicone, and that makes your thread so it's more manageable and less out of control. So when I get to the other end in the next corner, I'm going to decrease the size of my stitches right at the end. So the last 2 stitches are going to be closer together. Then I'm going to turn this around so I can clip this corner off. And that decreases bulk underneath in the corner and allows me to turn the corner under without fighting a lot of extra fabric. And then I take another little stitch on this side of the corner and a second smaller stitch. But I want to make sure that this is pulled down to the line. And then I continue around with the larger stitches. I have a loose thread. We'll just get rid of that. And then continue on around to the next corner and do the same thing over until your window is complete.